Okay, introduce yourself.
My name is Ben Jarreau, General Manager at Snow Seafood and Steakhouse.
Okay, I have a few questions to ask you, so we'll start with this one. What do you think makes you a good supervisor?
That's a tough question. I would leave that up to my staff really to answer that, but I would say just trying to be fair with everybody, giving them a voice. I mean, I'm always up for questions and feedback, and not just like a iron fist type of ruling. So just being willing to listen and understand who you're supervising, and also having knowledge uh, of of your craft as well. So just knowing the business and knowing what's required to lead by example as well.
Okay. All right, and how do you handle ethical dilemmas?
Ooh, ethical. Don't really have a lot of that going on. I guess here, to my knowledge, I would not be okay with something. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. Um, if something ever like that came about, I mean, I would just kind of go, to our core beliefs as a company and personally, just on how we would handle it. I don't think we would take part or do anything, with knowledge, that we were taking part in something like that. So I don't think we would participate in anything unethical, ever. It's just not who we are as a company. But not a whole lot, to really speak on as far as that's concerned.
Okay. And what is your strategy for creating empowering company meetings?
Well, kind of like I mentioned earlier, really just coming into the meeting with a purpose, knowing that you have a message to get across, and then the feedback. I mean, that's my biggest thing is just listening to your staff, to your employees, to get their point of view and to understand every angle, and that way you can better handle a situation or approach a problem.
Okay. What is your approach to diversity in your company?
Diversity. Well, as far as staffing, I mean, we try to be as diverse as possible. I mean, we definitely don't have any kind of limitations on, age, religion, sex, anything as far as that's concerned. As far as our craft, I mean, being diverse with us being a restaurant, being diverse in our menu, and that's obviously important. Keeping it changing, keeping it new, fresh, just being, not being one-dimensional is important for our style of restaurant. Other restaurants obviously can get away with being, one-dimensional, but the style of restaurant we definitely need to be diverse with all of our applications and pricing and everything.
Oh, I didn't know you was in here. Is it okay?
What kind of goals do you set for your employees?
Usually sales goals. We're about to start implementing different sales goals for our wait staff. If we see that they're lacking in an area, we're able to look at those situations and maybe coach them on ways to improve. In the kitchen, obviously goals to set for those guys are just learning new techniques or recipes, just getting better at certain aspects of that nature.
How do you ensure employees meet the goals that you have set for them?
Follow up. So I mean, every time you put something in place, you've got to be able to follow up. Accountability is another thing. That's one of the hardest things in a leadership position. I struggle with it personally. I think as a business, we all struggle with it, and it's really just. But that's the number one thing is following up and then being able to hold people accountable. So you've got to come behind them and make sure that they're doing what needs to be done or to the standard that you set.
Perfect. That's exactly what he said in my class. So, how do you maintain authority over your employees?
I try not to think of it that I maintain authority. That sounds like a harsh word, kind of when I was in the military, authority, you're kind of scared tactic. Really, I try to just be an obvious leader, somebody that, doesn't necessarily command respect or authority, but, that just kind of personifies that. And then also the hiring process. I mean, just really being a family restaurant, really hiring people that are willing and able to work in this industry for the purpose, for our goal, which is the guest and the guest experience. They've got to be respectable, and all those types of values you'll be able to tell most of the time, in a face-to-face interview process. So I really don't know that I try to maintain authority, although, I mean, if you were running around crazy, then chances are you wouldn't be working here, so.
Okay. What kind of process do you use when problem solving?
Most of the time, I just fall back on past experience, past failures. I mean, that's your best way to learn, is to have tried something and not succeeded. You know, it's never really a failure to not succeed. You just learn a way not to do it the next time. So it's a life lesson, a learning process. But problem solving is one of my favorite things. I love a challenge. So I like to kind of get in there and figure out what I can do to make something better, or get it fixed. You know, right? I mean, worst case scenario, you call somebody that knows more than you. So.
Okay. What techniques do you use to motivate your employees?
I'll use a couple different ones. Obviously, just, you know, we call it, like, I guess, your state of mind, your state of your energy. You know, bringing more energy to the staff can obviously help raise their energy level. We do, you know, different sales games, you know, for financial gain, or here's a gift certificate, or, you know, even cash money. So just different things. I mean, you've got to again be understanding of what will motivate. You know, not everybody's motivated by money. Not everybody's motivated by, you know, so a cheerleader type of deal. So just really figuring out your team and doing what you think would be best, or would hit home the most to get the best results.
And last one, how do you handle underperforming or problem employees?
Typically, you want to use it as a coaching, I guess, a coaching moment, a training, teaching. I always like to give people the opportunity, you know, to work on it, to get better. Accountability comes back into that. So, I mean, obviously setting a standard, showing them, learning, you know, teaching them how to do it. You know, it's a process before you end up, you know, having to cut ties at some point if it doesn't get better. But always willing and able. You know, we teach all of our management staff here to try to bring everybody up to a level you can. You know, you can't train people how to be good people, but you can always teach them. So that's you can always teach them how to be a better server, or be a better cook, or better manager. So we always try to teach, to coach, and you know, to a standard, hold them to that standard. If it doesn't work out, then sometimes it's just not meant to be.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much, Ben.
You're welcome.